Welcome to another video regarding flat earth philosophy, where everything's flat earth here. Science, myths, so-called myths are actual facts, just not understood by common man, been left for us over thousands of years. It's associated with all the religions. Science can be connected with it because science knows in physics how the whole system works. They just don't want to tell you that it's sitting here in the centre of the earth where we do not see it, the place of inaccessibility, centre north Arctic, above the Arctic. But this is our true flat earth model, the true world we live in, inside a toroidal field. Earth, flat earth, the plane of inertia inside the moving field. It's called the Eye of Horus because it's an image, a man's perspective of his world as he perceives it. It's through his eyes and his conscious state because it's connected to your brain. We are a fractal of earth. That's our head. It creates the same shape, the two hemispheres of our brain. We're so connected it's not funny. But science has hidden all this from you. They ignore it all because they're thick. They're just common man with no conscious state that really wakes them up to reality. So I'm going to explain the whole mythological story. I'll probably go into 2 or 3 parts because it's quite in depth really. And like the Bible, it'll tell you a story, but it's parallel to 2 other stories. They're running together. It's related to man's spiritual awakening, his creation, this is rebirth, the creation of earth, which is a one-off event too. Man's awakening is a one-off event. So you've got the spiritual awakening of man, you've got the explanations of the earth, and basically earth, man, spiritual and non-physical, it all comes together. So we'll start off with a few things here about this as being the iris, OSIRIS. That's where it all happens. Why OSIRIS was that? He was the eldest and so became king of Egypt, meaning king of the dark place. Egypt, Kemet, dark place. King of the dark place. He is on the horizon of the black hole. So the sun. So Osiris is connected to the sun. It's also connected to the how do I describe that? The original. Because everything's involving a dual system. It's man. Everything on earth is a dual system. There's man, his physical world, and his spiritual world. Coming together is the unification, male and female. The dual system becoming a singularity. All his wants coming together, which is basically the spirit world, where you're not wanting anything because you are one. You're not a dual system. You haven't been split off male and female here on the physical world. You are the one body. So you represent the one body. We'll get into more of this detail later, but Horus is basically, he represents the enlightened one. He's son born. He's a son born, is S-U-N and S-O-N, through the rebirth. So he's the enlightened one, okay? And Set, you could also say Osiris of the spirit world, and Horus is the unification, and Set is the earthly, the physical. the unenlightened, the drongo, the common man. Okay, bear that in mind. Horus, Osiris, Isis, and Set, or Seth in the Bible. Set, it is a set, a dual system. This is a dual system. The northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere is a set. And they meet, they marry together here. Both fields meet. But this is more spread out and dispersed. Where lenient comes into the story. Lenient, it's not fully supported because the northern horizon is flat and supported. But the southern, see, it sits up here. Northern horizon from there to there. But the southern field is not fully supported. It leans, as in lenient, and more dispersed. Because this whole field out here is a reflection of what's coming out of here. That bit is this bit. But it's obviously a bigger, more widely spread out image. This is in the story here. Right in here, the OSIRIS, the tropical region of the flat earth, where all the celestial bodies move. Cut in pieces. Gets cut in pieces in the story. Get to that. All the cycles are in here. E.g. moon phases, planetary cycles, seasonal changes. Okay. Sounds. Follow sounds. Original. Northern hemisphere's original image from the centre of creation. Out south is just a mirrored image. This is why Seth or Set is jealous of what's going on in here. He's only a reflection. That's one story. There's two more to go with that though. Origin, horizontal, horizon. Horus is connected with the horizon, horizontal. There's the spiritual side. There's the earthly understanding of the Ark of the Covenant, or your Ark of Horizon. Horizontal, looking out across your planet, across the planet, to your horizon. The high-flying one over us, then you get your Ark, the Ark over. Ark of the Covenant, Ark of Horizon. We're all within an ark. We'll have our own Ark of Horizon. As you walk, this is your Ark of Horizon. It's where you see. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, moves out of your horizon. It doesn't mean you live on a spinning ball earth and it goes down here. No, it's going out of your zone. It moves around the flat earth like this. Os, horos, just got a sound, os, or us, Horus. We got towards, against, near. It's moving out, near, coming into Osiris, the iris. Us, we, as in we see things on our high arc of horizon. What we see from our own eyes. Osiris equals iris, iris. Horus is the sun. S-O-N and S-U-N. Of Osiris and Isis. The sun at the centre. With the centre here, we see it out here, but it's actually back in there. Horus has the falcon head and depicts the shape that spirals out of the centre North Arctic. The shape of his head, this is all connected with this. Falcon head, little beak, it's not drawn quite right, beak, imagine his eye here, but it's all connected. Everything in this picture depicts what's going on this earth. The curve there, the curves. Enlightenment, magnetic field of bite thy heel, wound thy head, up in the brain, magnetic field of Earth, it's all there. Isis, what you see in the sky, your image, what you see, the sky, basically the sky goddess. Sis, one's own, his horizon, his perspective relative to the observer. I is an Isis, you, your view, also connected to the word sister, meaning one's own, which relates to the spiritual side of man in his dual system, male and female, becoming one, with his feminine being singularity, male and female come together, and where the night sky marries at Osiris, or the tropics, or the ecliptic plane in science, marries in here. These two fields marry together in here, curving magnetic fields of Earth from the south, from the north. They marry in here. Us, high arc of horizon, or we are from high, higher ascension, enlightened ones, understand this. So Buddhas are, Buddha represents this, enlightened ones, one born in each eon. It's the Jesus story. We're all awakened, our meaning to life is all to awaken, become singularity, but only one will become a Buddha or a Jesus story in each constellation. Every 2,160 years, and some Indian tales it's 2,500 years. There's also a high flying one, vortex, out of the centre Earth, meaning a high flying. It's going deep. So, Osiris is the sun, look, meaning king of a dark place, the black hole is the dark place, the centre, it's the pupil. Osiris out here, Iris, the sun. Elders became king of Egypt. He's king of the dark place, this dark, the black hole of creation. He's the king on its horizon. Let's get into this myth. Put on the right glasses. The story of Osiris, Isis and Horus, the Egyptian myth of creation. From Geb, the sky god, and Nut, the earth goddess, came 4 children, Isis, Osiris, Set and Nephthys. Nephthys is the moisture in the atmosphere, which supports all the holographic projections of all the celestial bodies. It's the moisture. You could say ether, but in this case it's mostly moisture. Also shown in the clear acrylic in my earlier videos. Now the clear acrylic of a fishbowl painted black on the outside can represent the moisture in the atmosphere, so you can show your northern star rotation and a parabolic reflection being more vertical from that central horizon, flat level northern horizon, night sky. Okay, so Osiris is basically can be represented by the original man. Isis is the sky, what you see, your images of the sky, and Set is the dual system, and Nephthys is basically the magical part, which is the moisture in the atmosphere that can show you the images floating up there. Osiris was the oldest and so became king of Egypt and married his sister Isis. He marries the sky, okay? Marries them together in here. Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. He was the king, this guy's the king of the dark place. It's mainly about spiritual enlightenment, the waking up of man. but there's the three systems involved. Osiris was a good king and commanded the respect of all who lived on the earth. So, and the gods who dwelled in the netherworld. Because he controls this area here, we all understand, we think all the celestial bodies are all in here because that's the ecliptic plane, science tells us. Everything moves around in here. And everything is governed by this iris. It gets drawn into the pupil. Controls this. So he's got the respect of all men on earth with eyes, because we have eyes to see. And the gods who dwell in the netherworld. They call it the netherworld, but really I think it's more like the neither world, because you have the physical world of man, common man on earth, then you have the spiritual world, the dual singularity. We have a dual system on earth. You come on this side, you become a singularity. This is the non-physical world when you die. And yet, but an enlightened person becomes neither. He's no longer a simple common man believing all the lies and rubbish, all the false prophets. He's become one, but he's not dead, is he? He's still physical. He's gained his meaning to life. The dual system, he understands everything. He understands this world, but he's not of these people now. And he's not of these people because he's still alive. He's not dead yet. He has to hang in there. He has to live his life out. His job is to convince these people, teach these people this world here. He's a witness. Understanding this world here. So they can become singularity, wake up, gain the meaning to life. Or they just keep getting recycled. Indian mythological stories tells us it could be for millions of years. This is the prize. It's pre-pass go. When you die, you're still on the right hand side of God. You don't have to come back and go through all this bullshit again. It's the job. That's the meaning to life. So the gods of the neither world. He's got the respect of them. And it's basically in the middle here, isn't it? The two worlds here, he's in the centre here. However, Set was always jealous of Osiris. See, Set is self jealous because he's only a reflection of what's happening in here. And Set, also, that's the one story. The other one is he's the common human and he's jealous of the enlightened one. Because all the magic happens in here. Ecliptic planet, it's planetary alignments. It's set. Getting your planetary alignment set for your divine awakening. Okay? Bear that in mind. However, Set was always jealous of Osiris because he did not command the respect of those on earth or those in the nether world. Okay? Because he's commonly like a scientist here on earth. He doesn't know what's really happening. He's jealous that people know the flat earthers and that are awake. They do their best to torment them because they're just, you could say, jealous. They just haven't got that part of the brain awake yet. One day Set transformed himself into a vicious monster and attacked Osiris. Well, now we go back to the night sky and the Milky Way. Milky Way is always the vicious monster in all the mythological stories. So you've got the same story in the Greek mythology with Python, is it? And Zeus, Typhon and Zeus. Typhon being the Milky Way and Zeus being the sun. The battle is day and night. Because the sun being tucked into the Milky Way like this, like an egg in a nest, turns. It's turning 24/7, 360 degrees over 24 hours, right? Who's winning? Daytime? There's nighttime, back of the Milky Way. So these are the battles. Transformed into a vicious monster and attacked Osiris, killing him, meaning now it's night time, you could say. Set then cut in night time being a dark place. That's Kemet, that's Egypt. Man is in a dark place, and what happens? Moses comes along and takes him out of a dark place, meaning he awakens him, brings him into the light. Set then cut Osiris into pieces and distributed them throughout the length and breadth of Egypt from the dark place. I mean, the stars and planets are all scattered out around the night sky, and you have to wait for your alignment, the alignment. And you can also refer the story to the moon, because in some of the mythological stories he's scattered into 14 pieces. So the moon's, phases out or phases into a full moon, then phases out again. It's 14 each side. Lost in the chamber, new moon for 2.2 days. Set then cut Osiris into pieces and distributed them throughout the length and breadth of Egypt. So you consider this, the iris is all cut up. Look at it, iris sort of looks like this, jagged all the way around, length and width of the black hole. In through here, black hole centre, the central vortex of from Earth, of our toroidal field. With Osiris dead, Set became king of Egypt. So you could say king of the night, dark place, right? With his sister Nephthys as his wife. So she's the night sky, she's the moisture in the sky, supporting all the stars and everything you see in the night sky. Nephthys, however, felt sorry for her sister Isis, the night sky, who wept endlessly over her lost husband. Wept endlessly, there's the moisture, over her lost husband, which you could refer to as the moon, or the sun, because it's now on the other side of the world. Isis, the night sky, who had great magical powers, because the night sky, it's an illusion, magical powers, it's all an illusion because they're all holographic projections, decided to find her husband and bring him back to life. This is bringing the moon back to a full body, or getting all the planets back together to align for a man's awakening. It has to be his planetary alignment. Back to life for his awakening. Back to life long enough so that they could have a child. This will become Horus, you see, the enlightened one. If you're awake during your, if you're in the right conscious state for the planet, when the planetary alignments do happen. Life long enough so that they could have a child together with Nephthys. Isis roamed the country. Okay, trying to find the planetary alignments, get them all collected together, of collecting the pieces of her husband's body and resurrecting them. Once she completed this task, planetary aligned, she breathed the breath of life into his body and resurrected him. This is man's awakening. Oh man, this is awesome. Adrenaline flowing through his body when he gets awoken. Same thing with a child at physical birth. Takes a big breath as he pops out, doesn't he? They were together again. This means a unification, because your singularity, you come from the spirit world as a single body, brought into the physical world as a dual system, and you have to come back together. It's your journey in life. They were together again, so you woken one. And Isis became pregnant soon after. So this is to do with the sun and the moon. This is basically, it's a bit jumbled, but pregnancy is basically a solar eclipse when the sun and the moon get it on, and the moon will give birth at full moon. Isis was able to descend. Isis was able to descend horizon into the underworld, where he became the lord of that domain. Okay, now this goes back to your arc of horizon. Descend to the underworld. Descend into the underworld. The night time, you see, the sun goes down in the night time. Goes out of your horizon, where he became the lord of that domain. So he's gone out of your domain. This is your arc of horizon, your domain. He's now the lord of it. The other domain, the next person west, or the other side of Earth, the day side. This is your domain. Soon after, like a village. So let's go back a bit. Once she completed this task, hang on, collecting the pieces of her husband's body and assembled them